Hello and welcome to The Thrifty Author. I'm your host, Gail Z. Martin, and today we're going to hit the second episode in the Things New Authors Need to Know series, and not just new, aspiring authors, people who are early in their career, people who are maybe thinking about getting their book out into the world. What do you need to know? We talked about some basics in episode 1. I want to take you to the next level here and talk about building a platform. Now, you may say, I don't have a book yet. What am I going to do for a platform? This is where thinking about the things you love as a point of connection and making that the basis of your initial platform can really pay off. So maybe you love comic books. Maybe you love knitting. Maybe you love baking. Whatever it is, start a social media presence with that. That could be a blog, that could be a website, that could be a Facebook group, where you start to draw like-minded people to yourself, talking about the things you love and sharing tips and ideas and recipes and patterns, whatever it is that you are really, really into. That enthusiasm becomes a magnet. And it draws people to you who like a lot of the same things. Now, how does that relate to your book? Well, it may or may not have anything to do with the subject of your book, but I'm betting that it has some connection to your writing somewhere. So, for example, I'm a huge fan of the TV show Supernatural. I didn't discover it until the show was late in its run, about 11 seasons. I'd already been writing for many years before that. But I always loved things that had ghosts and scary elements and supernatural elements and vampires and monsters and people who hunted them and magic and all of that. That was already part of all my books, even before I found the show, and part of what I love to read as a reader. So when I started really connecting with supernatural fandom, it just made sense that people who liked some of those same things might also enjoy my books. I didn't go into it for that reason at all, but it has worked out that it's been something that I can talk about with great enthusiasm and sheer love and excitement. And because there's a shared love of things, some of us love other things in common too, like books and authors and some of those things. So maybe you create your knitting group, and maybe you mentioned that you're also writing a cozy mystery book that deals with knitting related aspects or lighthouses or whatever it is your real nerdy heart loves. People are going to say, well, that's interesting. I like knitting. Tell me about your knitting book. Not everybody will follow you home and buy your book. That's okay. If you're doing this out of sheer pure love for something that you enjoy, it doesn't really matter, but it does create a jumping off point so that you have a core group of people who know you from this other thing that you're passionate about and share that in common, who then are very excited for you when the book comes out. They may tell other people, even if it's not their personal jam to read. They may share your posts. The point here is that because you've invested in creating this community, you're not standing in the dark, yelling into the void, hey universe, I have a book. You've got a core group of people, maybe small, maybe large, who are rooting for you. That's tremendously important, but it's also tremendously important in helping you share the message. And so creating a platform, and that can be a blog, that can be Instagram, if what you do is very photogenic, that's great. Photos work so well on social media, even if it's just something tangential. You know, I take pictures of the cities that we visit when we are out and about in normal times that are the settings for my books. I talk a lot about Supernatural. I run a Supernatural fan group. I post and repost articles about odd, spooky, scary things, because that's who I am. And if that's what I genuinely like. But if we share that like, we may also share some books in common. And it's a great way to bring people into your orbit without it being a sales type of situation. Down the line, when you have books out, having a group that is all about talking about your books, that's a great thing. But even there, people don't want to just hear buy my book. They want to have something in common. So like I said, whether it's travel, photos, animals, knitting, baking, brownies, crafts, think about what you love and how that can help you gather like-minded people. Boost others with your retweets, your comments, your recommendations, your reviews. This is such a great way to connect with other people, other authors in particular, because we notice who shows up. We notice people who continually show up and join in a positive way on comment threads. Whether or not they've read a particular book, again, if we're doing our job to share about things we love or find interesting, having other people who pop up a couple of times a week on those threads and always have something good to say, always have something positive to contribute to the conversation, we notice that. We get to know them. This is how you get to know other authors and other people in fandom spaces around your book. And down the line, when you create a genuine friendship, these folks can help tremendously by someday down the line, maybe retweeting or reposting you. But in the meantime, give generously and give first, and give without keeping track of what you hope somebody will eventually give back to you. So in other words, find things you really love and boost them. Retweet, repost, comment, keep it positive, be supportive, be a cheerleader for the people that are doing things that you love. And that brings you into the broader fandom for whatever that is. And I'm using fandom very broadly here. That could be baking fandom, people who love to bake. There's so many different things to love out there, but when you make the effort to boost other people, signal boost their projects, and be relentlessly positive in a very genuine way, you get known. And then that translates into when you have something to say or do, other people being aware of you and being interested in signal boosting you. That's today's Thrifty Author. I'm your host, Gail Z. Martin. We'll have more tips on all kinds of writing things, and I will see you online.